Here we are, and we take a look at the Sunncamp Air 360 Inflatable Caravan Porch Awning. This was brand new and came in a box, as you can see, and here we are unpacking it for the first time. Included is a repair kit, there's some sealant and other things for repairs if needed. Fairly clear instruction book with diagrams which help. All in all, fairly simple to follow and straightforward if you've ever put up a conventional awning in the past. This is the first air awning we've ever had, so we were quite intrigued to see how easy it was. So as we unpack it, you'll see it's tied up and folded up straight out of the factory. That was the air pump, tent pegs, and a skirt for the inside of the caravan. As with many awnings, the pegs that come with it, I call them pretty well Mickey Mouse pegs. So in this demonstration we do use them. But also inside this peg bag you've also got the ladders that are attached to the awning. This comes complete with an air pump. Although, to be honest, it's fairly self-explanatory. So just take everything out and just make sure it's all there as should be. The air pump has a valve, which will probably go a little bit closer up later on. It's worthwhile noting that the PSI, maximum PSI, when we do inflate the bladder, it's going to be 70 pounds per square inch. So just unfolding this out for the first time, trying to find where things are. Just getting some air out of it. Obviously straight out of the factory, it's quite compact. And up we go along the awning rail. Again, this awning is really lightweight. Not really much effort required to actually put this up. So on the awning rail and just pull along. This is a porch awning, so this needs to be right along the actual top of the van, not dangling over the edges. So back outside and getting used to this. It wasn't particularly a windy day when we did put this up, but it's absolutely brand new, so we do have to put the little ladders on by hand. So this only takes a few minutes. And the really nice thing with this system compared to some of the older awnings is these ladders used to be sewn on, and if they snapped it was a bit of a nightmare to replace. Obviously if these now break, it is fairly simple just to clip a new one on and clip them into place. So spare a few moments and work your way around and attach them. What we're going to do now is just secure the awning under the van, just to pull it in tight. This has got cushion padded supports, which makes the awning snug up really close to the van. You can purchase separately additional poles, support poles, if you require, something we won't really bother with. So securing this again on both sides, putting the ladders in, I should say putting the pegs into the ladders, making it secure. then need to find the bladder and where the inflator cap is. This was clipped on for some reason. I can understand why it's clipped on, but it's a bit of a pain. So we now need to manually screw this into place. There's an inflate and deflate, if that makes any sense. So at the moment that's got a one-way valve that allows us to pump air into it, but the air not to come out. So again, I did mention earlier, this has got a gauge on it, and do not inflate over PSI. A number of adapters bayonet fit into the pump, so get the one that corresponds for inflating the bladder, secure into place, and it's a case of pump that baby, maximum 70 PSI. I've seen some videos of people doing this and it does look a lot of effort. In reality, it was a doddle, and literally I'm not counting how many pumps here, but maybe 15 or so pumps, and the bladder just suddenly comes up nice and rigid. Terribly easy to do. Again, just check the bladder and make sure that you don't go above 70 PSI. When you come to detach the pump, the one-way valve keeps the air in the bladder and stops it coming out, but do make sure that you put a cap on. That's just extra to keep the air in place. One thing we didn't show on the video is the bladder, the actual bladder itself inside the awning does sit on a couple of mats and it velcros into place. It is really important to actually do that. We didn't notice that the first time we actually put this up, and that was not clear in the instructions. So go inside, make sure now that the bladder is sat on the mat and it's secured into place with its own velcro feet. There's also a strap that you also need to attach, which keeps the awning in its upright position by keeping it quite taut. Again, we either didn't read that in the instructions or we missed it and spotted it later. I'm sure, like all awnings and all caravan owners, you'll find your own way of doing this. So we just secure down the straps and now go out and give it a peg out. Just working your way around. Again, these pegs we are using, but on our next trip they will be replaced with pegs that are a little bit more sturdier and robust, rather than these little cheap steel pegs, which I just call Mickey Mouse pegs. Work your way around, nice and easy. There's the awning all in place. Really simple, quite literally a couple of minutes to get into place, 5 minutes to put up and peg out. And what we're now going to do is peg out the I call them the rave flaps on the outside. Again, really neat because these actually do properly have pegging out facilities. Really simple to do and works a treat. As well as keeping the rain out, this also keeps the wind out. One thing when the awning is up is because it is pretty airtight, especially if you put the and the canvas is made up from an Ace Tech 75 denier material, which is really good for a short weekend break, and those smaller caravans as well, because it's really quick and easy to put up and very, very lightweight. It's designed for caravans with a connection height between 235 centimetres and 250 centimetres, and the dash sits at 260 wide and 240 deep. It's a smashing little living area, and we found this really useful. The dash has got the Sunncamp Air-Volution technology, which is really safe and durable, and we're told very reliable. And you'll see that the dash also has windows with privacy curtains on them, so you've got a nice view outside. The front door does roll up. You can buy additional poles if you did want to make that into a porch, and the front window also has a blind on it, a curtain on it, that you can roll down, which gives you nice, beautiful panoramic views. One thing we did notice with this one, because it's fairly airtight and we were in some very warm weather, this was actually the 1st of September 2017, the awning does get condensation. Don't get condensation mixed up with it not being waterproof. By nature, the condensation will give you some drips that you will notice, but don't really worry about it. And here we have some geese flying over us. Again, we attach the skirt inside the awning. Just helps stop those drafts, as well as making it look a little bit prettier. And here we are, all in place. A couple of dogs outside. Really quick and simple to put up, and surprisingly easy. How easy this was to actually inflate, and the rigid bladder on this one, I was a little bit nervous that it was going to be a bit floppy, like a floppy airbed, and that wasn't the case. So you've got some really clear windows in here, and those privacy curtains just make it ideal, because inside that does give you the additional sunlight as well. That's us with the front door rolled up, sat inside, and we hope you found this little video useful. Thank you.